Hey there, welcome back to Pop Divert. Today I want to talk about a very interesting person and a legend in South African music. I wanted to talk about this person for such a long time, but I held it back because he is such a polarizing person. And the question in my mind was, how can one man be responsible for the soundtrack of a nation's liberation while simultaneously becoming one of its most polarizing figures? So I just want to do a deep dive into the career of Silo Chicco Twala, a musical genius born in Soweto in 1963, whose Midas touch defined an entire era. But behind the platinum records and lifetime achievement awards lies a complex web of accusations regarding stolen credits, unpaid royalties, and a personal life that often reads like a tabloid thriller. This is the story of the legend we hate to love. Chicco Twala didn't just fall into success, he built it from the ground up. Starting in the 1970s with soul and funk bands like Umoja and Sipho Hotsticks Mabuse's Harari, he eventually formed a group of his own and it was called Image, before launching a solo career that would change South African pop history forever. His breakthrough came in 1987 with a song that basically shouldn't have been allowed to exist. We Miss You Manelo was a triple platinum masterpiece that used a clever ruse to evade the strict apartheid censorship of the time. While the state controlled SABC banned anything politically charged, Chico used the name Manelo, sounding like Mandela, and a music video about a missing girl to hide a tribute to the then imprisoned Nelson Mandela. This song, I think it was the soundtrack of literally every black person in South Africa and the ones who were in exile as well, because it was a song to remind everyone that one of our leaders is not with us and we need to keep him at the forefront of our minds. And since we can't talk about it openly, we're going to find very clever ways to talk about it because we need this to be at everyone's forefront of their minds. He is being taken by the apartheid government. And remember, back then, we know now like some of the things that was happening, like with Nelson Mandela, where he was held and all of those things. But back then, people didn't really have much knowledge about where he is and what is happening with him and things of that sort. So this song, We Miss You Manelo, Where Are You, was basically people saying, hey, we miss you. We haven't heard anything about you being dead and needing to be buried. Therefore, we are wondering, where are you? Are you safe wherever you are? Which, of course, the word safe is, yeah, it's something else. It's not quite clear. Like he was alive, but safe, very questionable. So that was such a groundbreaking hit, and it literally thrusted Chico straight to the top spot of artists who existed back then in South Africa. In as much as Chico recorded this beautiful song that literally was the backdrop of South African struggle against the apartheid, his career was at its peak, I would say, when he worked as a producer. He was the driving force behind Brenda Fassie's iconic shift towards political music. He wrote and produced hits like Too Late for Mama in 1989 and Black President in 1990. He even produced Brenda Fassie's massive 1997 comeback album, Memeza, one of the best-selling records in the country's history. Title card saying Part 2, The Shadow of the Legend. If the 80s were about his magic, the subsequent decades have been marred by a recurring theme of allegations of intellectual property theft. In 2024, the Princess of Africa, Yvonne Chaka publicly slammed Twala, claiming she was never credited or paid royalties for co-composing the 1990 classic Umqombothi. Yvonne admitted that she was young and clueless at the time, stating that she added the famous Nawu Nawu Madoda part without receiving a cent in return. Chicco, however, fired back, claiming that he and Atifan Beg wrote the song and that Chaka Chaka made millions as the performer, while the writers made very little. The pattern of he said, she said regarding royalties has become a permanent stain on his legacy. One of the biggest controversies regarding Chicco Twala's alleged theft in artists' finances is with regards to Brenda Fassie. The late South African legend died in 2004, and after her death is when the battles and the back and forth between her family started with Chicco Twala. So after 2024, the Fassie family has repeatedly came out and said that they do not have any ownership of Brenda Fassie's music or receiving payments for royalties for her work. And Brenda Fassie's son, Bongani himself, has also come out like numerous times claiming that he doesn't have access to any of his mother's music or money, and that if he were to maybe sample any of his mom's work, then all the money would go to basically Chicco Twala. So there's been a lot of controversies regarding whether or not he steals from his artists or not. And obviously, Chicco has also come out to defend himself and say that he didn't have any part in stealing the artist's money. And I think one of the most controversial in terms of like the public now things regarding Chicco versus Brenda Fassie's family or Brenda Fassie herself was the fact that Brenda Fassie did not want to have a bank account when she was alive. So all her money went straight into Chicco Twala's business account. And from there, she got her share in the sense of like transfers, but it was usually cash. Chicco Twala admitted that he would usually just give her hard cash whenever she would come and be like, yo, I need 20,000 rands. He would literally make sure that he has a lot of amount of cash just to give to Brenda. And in cases where she wanted a house or a car, he would buy those things for her. And I remember there was also rumors flying around that when he bought those things, and I think Bongani was the one who also alleged these things, that when he would buy these things for Brenda, obviously using her money because she doesn't have a bank account, that these things would be in his name. Whenever she would be like, I need this car, this latest grand car, just get it for me, even if it means you get it from overseas, that he would do that, but the title would be in his name. So those are some of the things that Brenda's family alleged, against Chicco Twala. Obviously, he denied any wrongdoing or any part in stealing from Brenda Fassie. And so that is one of the biggest stains on his legacy and his image as one of South Africa's musical legends. Chicco's reputation is further complicated and tainted by his turbulent personal life. In a move that shocked the whole of South Africa, Chicco opened a criminal case against his own son, Longwe, in 2024, and he accused his son of breaking into his studio and stealing music equipment worth approximately 200,000 rands. As he was trying to open a case against his son for stealing from him, a police officer, I assume, took a video of him, and he was basically crashing out and saying that his son is bringing disrepute to his name and that he's basically defaming his own father because he's constantly involved in controversial and sometimes not so legal things. And so he was saying that you're ruining my name, and I worked so hard to get to where I am and to make my name what it is. But now I'm linked to all sorts of things. I'm linked to theft. I'm linked to drug dealings, and now the Senzo Meyiwa thing. And so when he said that the Senzomiwa thing, everyone was just very, like, the internet just went crazy because people were like, wait, what do you mean the Senzomiwa thing? Because the running theory on the internet at the time was that Longwe was possibly the one who shot Senzomiwa, but it was not clear why he would do that. So when Chicco said that, people took that and ran with it and thought, okay, this probably means that the son did it, and he knows that the son did it. When the Senzomiwa trial also resumed, and there was a whole lot of things being uncovered, and one of the advocates in the trial also started, throwing some things or some accusations or some allegations that that Senzo was killed by Longwe Twala in a dispute about his girlfriend Kelly Kumalo's sister Zandi, and that he must have fired by mistake, I don't know, and then the gun that Longwe used was his dad's, Chicco Twala's gun, and that's why when the whole thing happened, the first person that they called was not the police or an ambulance, but rather Chicco Twala. So all of these significantly tanked Chicco Twala's reputation, to the extent that right now, if you would ask anyone, let's say who's like 25 years old, do you know Chicco Twala? What do you know about him? You most probably will not hear anything about his music or the great music that he helped create. And all you will hear is just all these controversies. So I think the aftermath of all of these complications that him and his son's relationship faced as a result, obviously, of his son's recklessness, was that he basically said that he stopped speaking to his son. And he also says that he doesn't have anything to do with the Senzomiwa thing. He wasn't there. He wasn't called. It wasn't his gun being used to murder Senzomiwa. And he even came out saying that if my son is guilty, then take him and lock him up. Take him and lock him up. So he hasn't been defending anything about his son. He's just been saying if he's guilty, then just take him. So how do we judge Chicco Twala? On one hand, he is a recipient of 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards from the Summers in 2004 and Metro FM in 2013 for his undeniable contribution to the music industry and the struggle for democracy. His music provided hope during the dark days of the 80s. On the other hand, he remains a figure associated with industry disputes and legal drama. Is he a misunderstood visionary who was protecting his interests? Or is he a tycoon who profited off of the cluelessness of young stars? That is for you to decide. Chicco Twala remains a master of a ruse in his lyrics, in his beats, as well as his public persona. He is the legend South Africa loves to hear, but often hates to celebrate. What do you think? Is Chicco the greatest producer we've ever seen? Or do the accusations outweigh the hits? What do we do in this instance? Do we celebrate the music? Or do we ignore the music because of all the things that are linked to the person, the artist? Let me know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into the icons who shaped Africa in South Africa, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. For now, it's goodbye.